All right, the 5 best takeaways from the Automatic Millionaire, a powerful one-step plan to live and finish rich. Now, this is a very interesting book. It doesn't take long to read either, but it's very, very concise and to the point. One thing I like about, I'm not going to do the 5 takeaways just yet. I just want to say that if you guys are interested in the book and want to learn more, there are affiliate links in the description below. I got 2 versions of the book that I'm linking to. I may get a small commission and no extra cost to you if you click on the links and purchase whatever. But I want to say this. One version of the book is the original. This is the one that I have in my hand. This is the original book that we're going to be talking about. But there is an expanded version that came out around what was it, 2016, I think? I forgot the date. But there will be a link to both of those. So if you want to get the more expanded version instead of the original, I actually am kind of curious about the expanded version. I might even end up getting that book somehow. There's also an Audible version in the link. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all of it, but as much as I love books, this is actually, as I read for information primarily, I'm like Warren Buffett, I'm like Charlie Munger. I read for the information. This is the information. Stuff like this, informational books, man, this book comes in handy. So we're going to go over the 5 takeaways about this book. We're not doing any jump cuts. We're doing this all in one take to the best of our ability. That's just how we roll on this show. No editing, for the most part. Now we're going to do with the most important lesson on this one. Pay yourself first, okay? This is what makes the Automatic Millionaire thing work the most. Now, what does this mean? So you want to set up an automatic withdrawals from your paycheck or your bank account, whatever you want to do, or the checking account, into a retirement or a savings account. The idea is pretty simple. Now, if you never see the money, you won't spend it. Automate it so building wealth becomes effortless. Now, for the most part, I will say that I do follow this. A lot of stuff that I do is automatic when it comes to my wealth, but a lot of it is manual. When it comes to like my high yield savings accounts, that's automatic. Brokerage accounts, I try to keep that automatic, but they're very small amounts, by the way. It's usually monthly, mainly because at this point my dividends come in automatically into my brokerage account, and I don't really need to put any of my own money into my own brokerage. But I do like to invest, so I do like to put a pretty good amount of sum into my brokerage account. But I won't go into that. So basically, the temptation goes away when it's not easily accessible. This is why a high yield savings account isn't too bad if you're looking to kind of stash money to the side, like maybe you need it for a car bill or something, but you want to make sure that you have the money in a high yield savings account and then transfer it over to a checking account. I think that's always smart. You still want to have a good chunk of money in your checking account to avoid like overdraft fees. You just want to make sure that you have capital. You want to make sure you're as liquid as you can be. So that's a big thing. So yeah, if you never see the money, you won't spend it. So if it goes to your brokerage account, chances are you'll only need to get it out of there if you really need to get it out of there. That's where credit cards come in. Now, they have high yields. I'm just going to say this. Credit cards have high yield interest rate, so you don't want to hold a balance for too long. You want to pay that sucker off when you can. So that's a big hint that I can give you. None of this is financial advice, just my own personal opinions on life. But yeah, anyway, so essentially make it as automatic as you can. Make it to where your brokerage account or your high yield savings account, whatever you're using, pulls the money out of your checking account automatically or your paycheck, one or the other. It just depends on how you proceed in life. Now, the second best takeaway from this book is the latte factor. Now, small daily expenses like your $5 coffee or takeout habit, they add up over time. They really do. Now, this is something where people usually turn off the video, but I don't think you should. I think you should hear this out. Because sometimes the truth isn't always pretty. It can be pretty, but it sometimes isn't. Here's the thing that Bach argues, is that if you redirect a few dollars a day towards savings or investing, it can make you a millionaire over a few decades. Seriously. So if your whole goal is to consume less and invest more, essentially, it's just like, look at what you're consuming. Do you need this? Can you make the coffee at home? Can you maybe buy an energy drink as an alternative? I mean, I buy energy drinks, but I get them kind of in bulk, so I get them at a pretty good price. But can you find a way not to have to spend as much money? Or can you at least find an income stream, an extra income stream that you could use to supplement that? But I still think $5 lattes are crazy. But the whole goal is it does add up, and it does matter. It really does matter. So the thing is, like, if I keep going to Starbucks or Dutch Brothers, and I'm buying like 5 or 6 and by the way, at the time this was written, which was like 2003 or whatever, 2004, inflation wasn't that bad. So that $5 latte then is probably more like 7, 8, 9, or $10 now. So I say just ditch coffee shops in general. If I'm going to add something to this, coffee's great, but coffee shops are the devil and probably the most unnecessary thing in the world. That's my opinion. I can't stand Dutch Brothers. I can't stand Starbucks. I just hate coffee shops. I'm sorry. Unless it's like maybe like a local shop where they have sofas and stuff, and they have a little bakery stuff. That's understandable. It's a hangout spot, right? That makes sense to me. But coffee shops that are just like, I don't know. Starbucks feels too forced. I don't know. I'm very indifferent. I don't go to coffee shops is what I'm saying, because I think they're a waste of money. It's the same reason I don't really go to restaurants. Like, I'll take my girlfriend out to a restaurant, sure, but we do that maybe like once every 2 or 3 weeks, right? And we try to be smart about our money. We don't need to live like kings to be kings, is what I'm trying to say. And here's the thing, man. The most important thing is freedom. And in my opinion, assets equal freedom. So if you're accumulating assets like crazy, you're becoming more and more free, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's keep going. The third best takeaway is make it automatic, right? So, sorry about that. So automation is the heart of this book, right? If you automate, you can automate your bill payments, you can automate your savings, investments, and like even debt payments, right? When systems are in place, which nowadays it's even easier to automate everything. So when systems are in place, I mean, like you remove emotion and inconsistency from your financial life. So you could dollar cost average a lot easier if you make it all automatic. Now, I will admit on my brokerage account, a lot of it is done manually by me, because I believe that I am the system and I'm constantly trying to diversify. So because I never reinvest in the same stuff, I always look for new investments, new ETFs, that sort of thing, new different philosophies. So my investment strategy is a little bit different. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite to this book. But overall, when it comes to my high yield savings account, that's an automatic process, because I just want a place to have a little bit of extra money if I need it, but I also want to get a yield on that extra money as well. Because if I have it all in my checking account, I ain't getting yield on that. So that matters. Let's see. But yeah, no, overall, I think trying to automate as much as you can is perfect. I like to be involved in my brokerage account, because I think it's important. Just that's my priority. So some of it's automatic, but some of it isn't. So the dividends come in and I just manually apply them to whatever I want to apply them to. But yeah, money rarely ever leaves my brokerage account because I'm too busy reinvesting that money. And then that means I don't have to put any of my own money into my brokerage account, because constantly I'm swing trading 20% of it, and then I'm receiving dividends from my long-term forever holdings. It's a win-win situation is all I'm trying to say. I love ETFs, by the way. Exchange traded funds are the tits. Let's see. And then, so another one is to own your home. Now, Bach strongly believes in home ownership. This is where I disagree with the book, but I do believe it is a good takeaway. I really do. Because for most people can't do the stock market. People just can't. They can't long-term hold stocks. They get too freaked out by it. They just, I think they're missing out on opportunities, but whatever. It's their loss, my gain, I guess. But yeah, Bach strongly believes in home ownership. He does argue that buying a home and paying it off early can at least be one of the most reliable paths to wealth, especially when automated mortgage payments are made bi-weekly to speed up the payoff. So I got to admit, I do auto pay my auto loan, but that's the only real debt that I have at this point, is just my auto loan. And then keeps my life pretty simple. As long as it's my only debt, that's pretty good. And then I have a lot of I have other streams of income as well besides that, which is nice. I got my dividend income, which sorry about that, you guys. I don't know if I heard a car crash outside. Anyway, I don't think it was. But yeah, when it's made bi-weekly, man, it really matters. It really counts. But yeah, just speed up the payoff overall. But yeah, another thing is there's the fifth key takeaway is that there's no budgeting even required. So instead of living with a restrictive budget, you could build systems that handle your finances for you. The Automatic Millionaire isn't about depriving yourself. It's about creating a structure where wealth builds itself in the background. So I will admit, I've created it to a point where my brokerage account constantly does whatever it wants because I constantly get pretty high dividend payouts because I have so many different holdings. So I get a dividend every day. And when you're highly diversified, man, that's the key. That really is the key. This book, it's seriously quite a legendary book, if I'm going to be honest. Overall, I will say this. The key takeaway is pay yourself first. Even if you didn't really care for the other four, some people aren't going to like the latte factor one because they're like, I can't live without my mocha chocolate, or whatever the hell people get these days. And also, automation, make it automatic. So make it automatic and pay yourself first automatically are probably the two overall ones that I hope people can get. And I honestly, I'll tell you this, if the latte factor part of it annoys you, good. Because you're not just annoyed with that, you're actually probably subconsciously annoyed with yourself, is really what it boils down to. You're annoyed that you buy expensive coffee from a soulless coffee shop, is what I'm trying to tell you. And yeah, you're not going to like to hear that. And I'm not out to make friends. I'm out to speak the truth. And sometimes the truth makes you a lot of enemies. I'll tell you that. So overall, though, Automatic Millionaire, it's a solid choice. I think this is probably one of the better books out on the shelves. Give me 1 second. Some slight technical issues. But yeah, overall, the book is really a solid book. I hope more people consider getting it. It's probably one of my favorite books out there. I think it's a no-nonsense book. It really gets the point across. It teaches you different ways of basically automating your finance. That way you don't let emotion get in the way. And for a lot of people, emotion gets in their way. So even if you have to make your brokerage automatic, do that. I still think it's a bad idea. I think you should be really involved in your portfolio, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of high yield savings accounts. I do have one. I don't think they're the end all be all, though. I think having a brokerage account with a diversified set of assets is the key. And that's about final. But yeah, automate it, man. Pay yourself first. Paying yourself first is so damn important, man. And I like to remind myself that, it's like, put it into my brokerage, put it into my whatever. So try to make it automatic, you guys. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to view this video. And I hope you all have an incredible rest of the day. Bye for now.